Hi, I'm PJ from photoshopbus.co.uk, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how you can do some auto correction, as the title of the tutorial says. I suppose it's more of a tip really than a tutorial, and it's just basically limiting the amount of work you do and making Photoshop do more work. And for a lot of images this will work for you, so let's just show you an example of how to do it. I'm going to open Mini Bridge, and I've got ready this washed out picture of this swan and her cygnets. So we'll first open it with Camera Raw, just to show you quickly that there is, and there's the full screen button by the way, that there is an auto button on this first tab, which is basic. So this is where you've got your exposure, your contrast, your highlights. Everything else is, the individual parts. So they really haven't got, well, I don't think any of them have got a auto button, not directly in sight anyway. So we'll just stick to this basic and click auto, and that does a pretty good job, but it's still kind of washed out. There ain't much contrast. Well, there's not enough contrast, put it that way. Now to get back to how it was, we could close it and then reopen it and blah blah blah, but we're just going to do Camera Raw defaults. Don't do previous conversion, and don't do don't do default. It's Camera Raw defaults, and then if you click on this blue right in the link down there, you get the option to let it open as smart object or not. So if I was going to do some work on the image and then come back into Camera Raw to do some more work in Camera Raw, I could open it as a smart object. So when I double click on the smart object, it would create a link between Camera Raw and Photoshop, just like you can create that link between Photoshop and Illustrator, for example. But we don't need it to, so we'll uncheck that box and we'll just do open image, and it'll just open it as a normal image, as you can see by our layers planet panel. And we can maybe do panel options, make them tabs bigger. You can see it's just a normal layer locked. So let's create a few, maybe 5 instances of that image by hitting Control J. So that's to duplicate a layer, Control J, and we're going to name them. So we'll name the top one Adjust Curves, and the one underneath Adjust Levels, and then we're just going to do color. In fact, let's do auto, and how do they go? Contrast, so auto contrast. Cancel. Auto contrast. One of the many things wrong with my computer is I've got a USB port which is not working as it should. I keep getting this damn message comes up from my backup drive. Anyway, and then we've got auto tone. So auto tone. So we know what we're doing. And then this is the background. So let's turn off all these, work on the auto tone. You might have seen it, glimpsed it when I went to image, and we've got some auto tone, contrast and color. So as the layer says, auto tone, and there, that is a much better looking image than what we started with. Well, I'd say it is, and it's better than what we got in Camera Raw as well. So let's go on to auto contrast next, and we'll go image, auto contrast, and that's a lot warmer. As you can see, them greens are warmer, and look at the colors of the cygnets, they're warmer. So, and then do auto color, image, auto color, all found under the image menu, auto color, and we've probably lost some of that warmth. We've got some nice deep colors going on there, and it's probably more like auto tone. See, there's not much difference. It's a little bit warmer with the auto tone. I suppose auto colour is the darkest or the less warmth, but depending on what you're going for. But they're all pretty passable compared to what this was. Now, the reason I also have adjust levels, adjust curve is because we can do this with levels and curves as well, and I'm going to do it using the adjustment layer, so it's non-destructive, which is kind of a bonus by doing it this way. It's a little bit longer. It's not your 1 click or 2-3 clicks. It might be 5 clicks, but not many clicks at all really. So let's click that on, hold down Alt, and come to our adjustment layers down the bottom, and then go on to levels, because we're on the adjust levels layer. Now we're still holding down Alt. We're going to click levels so we get this new layer, and we can name it. So we can call this, well, we'll know it's levels, and we can tick the box to use the previous layer to create that clipping mask, which is what we want. Now if you don't do it that way, you can clip and unclip a layer with the layer below by just bringing your hand between the two layers, holding down Alt till it turns to the square with the arrow pointing down, and then clip. Okay, so now what that means is that top layer is only going to affect what's in the layer underneath. So in this case, that levels is only going to affect the layer underneath. Anyway, we're not here to talk about adjustment layers. So here we have an auto button as well, as promised. Let's click it and see what happens. Well, it's kind of done probably what it done in Camera Raw, not much really. So let's undo that, and what we're going to do this time is hold down Alt and hit that auto button. Now Alt is one of them buttons in Photoshop which kind of changes the way things work. So auto buttons, for example, and filters, and resets some things. I think if we was to go to image levels, yeah, it changes to cancel to reset, you see, by holding Alt. Anyway, so yeah, we're on that levels. Going to hold down Alt and we're going to click Auto. Now the first one you get is basically what you'd get if you didn't hold down the Alt and you clicked Auto. You got this kind of look. So it's enhanced the brightness and the contrast, but it's not really giving us what we want. There goes that epoxy connection again. So let's click on the top one. Now that's a lot better, and then the bottom one, middle one, and then the third one down. Now if we rest our mouse over it, we get the tip for that little option there, and if you at the end of it, you can see in brackets it says auto contrast, the next one says auto tone, and the next one says auto color. So this is another way of creating the same thing as you get from the image menu, except this way it's a little bit longer. But let's do our in fact let's do the auto contrast, because that's probably my favorite, and click OK. This way we have got a layer mask to work on, so we can remove, and we can also bring back on that layer mask for that levels, for that adjustment layer. And also we can drop the opacity. What else can we do? We could change the density and the feather of that mask. So you've got a few more options, and of course you can change the blending mode. You've got a few more options by using adjustment layer. It's non-destructive basically, and gives you a few more options. So this is probably the way I would go if I was going to do it, rather than using these buttons here. And then adjustment curves is the same really. We'll hold down Alt and we'll go adjustment curves. Use previous layer to create clipping mask. OK. If I click Auto, look at the curve. Look how it's bent. So we've got 1, 2, 3 points, and we ain't really getting nothing. Let's undo that. Let's hold down Alt and click Auto. And remember, as I was saying on the levels, that the enhanced brightness and contrast is basically what you get when you click the Auto button without the options. Well, we clicked it with the option button, or the Alt button open this time. So Alt, and you see basically this kind of just proves that fact, because we've got the same curve as if we'd hit that Auto button without the option button on a Mac. And then again, we've got our contrast, and then we've got our tone, and then this will be our colours. So find light and dark colours, enhance per channel contrast, enhancement, chromatic contrast. So it's probably giving you a little bit more information as to actually what's going on as well, rather than just clicking through the image. And again, like I say, we do end up with the adjustment layer. It's non-destructive, and we've got them extra options. So anyway, that's using autocorrect in Photoshop. So hope you use it, hope it saves you some time. Please come and check us out at photoshopbus.co.uk for lots more tutorials, and well, just come and check us out. Thanks for watching, catch you next time.